Okay, so I'm doing a project. It's actually a really big project. My brother's wedding again, and somebody wanted a sign, and they asked if I could do it out of wood. Well, sure, I can make signs pretty much out of anything. My favorite is taking pallet wood. So here I'm using I think this is just the regular contact paper, the Duck brand, yep, peel and stick contact paper. It's really cheap and flimsy, but if you've watched how I use the spray adhesive on the back, that's what I'm going to be doing. So what I do is I just come in here and I actually weed out the letters, weed them away, so you take out the good stuff, and then you keep the insides and all the backing, so that when you paint, you're actually painting in the letters. So I'm just going to go through here and pull out all this stuff. I have, it's quite a large sign. I think it's like almost 3 foot by 5 foot. And I'll show that to you when we get out to the barn where my workshop is. I did this kind of last second. I know I promised you guys I'd bring you along on the ride with me. So this is just weeding of some, this is actually really cheap. You can see this is just like really thin paper. So we'll see how this goes, okay? Okay, so I have all this vinyl out here. And this isn't the 651, this is more like a 631. So it's not going to be really sticky. I don't want to spray the back of it with adhesive because I still have a whole bunch more to lay down. And I don't want to use huge sheets of my low-tack adhesive. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use a hairdryer. Okay? And what this does is this helps stick this stuff down. Okay? And with this being pallets and it being uneven, there is going to be slight unevenness in the boards. That's okay. I'll work around it. Like right here, there's a big unevenness. That's okay. So let's work on this one right here. Well, first what I'm going to do is try to pull out the pieces, the little pieces like that, and try to get them to lay down evenly. So I'll fix the pieces that I can ahead of time. And you'd be surprised what the heat actually can do. Okay, so let's start heating it up. And you don't want to bake it. Just heat it quick. And then pull it away. And just smooth down the edges. Okay, so let's check this out now. It went from super duper wrinkly to okay. Here's a big wrinkle, but it's wrinkled, it's folded over. Let me see if I can bring you into that. Bear with me. Okay, so it's folded over and the wrinkle lies in a crack, so that's not a big deal. So it went from being super wrinkly to not wrinkly at all. And I do have some gaps right here, but I know that when I go to paint them to just be aware and squish them back down if I need to, but as you see they lie in a crack, so I'm not real worried about those. But that hairdryer took an absolute mess and turned it into a nice flat paintable surface. Okay, let's run through this again. We're going to take this one, which is a really hot mess. We're going to try to do it on there. Okay, let me bring this down a little bit. Okay, make sure this doesn't fall off the table. It'd be a big no-no. Okay, so bring it up here a little bit. Try to start from one end and work to the other. And like I said, don't leave the heat on it for a long time because you'll actually end up stretching it if you do, or melting it even. So try to work out ahead of time the little pieces like these. If you can, you know, lift them and pull them up, that will help ahead of time. Okay, like right here, this whole thing has shifted. The gaps between the letters aren't where they need to be. See? That gap completely disappeared. Okay, so let's try don't bake your skin either. These hair dryers get awfully hot. And you don't want to do this if you're in a rush. You want to be able to take your time and just work it. See, that little bit of heat just completely took that wrinkle out. If you can, try to move your wrinkles down to the bottom or up to the top, because it doesn't matter how wrinkled that looks, because you'll just be painting this, not a permanent type placement. Want the edges to be sealed. Don't really care what the rest of it looks like. Okay, so it went from a horrendous mess. So it's all sealed down now. We have a crease, but that's not laying along the edge. There's a crease there, it's not along the edge. It's completely sealed down. So, that's how you go about using a heat gun to seal down. That's how you go about using a heat gun to seal down your vinyl when you're going to paint, so that none gets underneath it when you can't use spray adhesive on it. Alright, thanks a lot, guys.